everyone, it's Shannon with Sparkle and Shine Health and Fitness. Happy Friday. Beautiful rainy day here. I'm really enjoying the rain, the fresh smell of the rain, knowing there's going to be lots of flowers blooming soon, so I'm excited. But today I wanted to share something with you quickly. Last week I shared some recipes about healthy, simple breakfast ideas to make those crazy mornings that are really busy simple, right? So those were some quick, healthy recipes I shared last week for breakfast. And that got me thinking a little bit about breakfast. And is it really important to eat breakfast? And I'm sharing these things with you as a mom and also as a nurse. So two perspectives. And as a mom, I remember and know how crazy those mornings can be. I had 3 kids and I remember trying to get them all ready for school in the mornings. And it was crazy, right? You're trying to make sure their hair is brushed, their teeth are brushed, that they have their book bags, that they have their coats on. Oh, and that they eat breakfast, right? Because it's so important. That's what everybody says. Eat breakfast, it's so important, all right? So we try to get those kids those healthy meals before they run out the door so they have a better morning, and we'll talk more about that. And so it's really important. Get those breakfasts in, but I know it is crazy in the mornings, right? I am a night person, not a morning person, so I got most of the stuff ready at night, got the book bags lined up, made sure the homework was in them, made sure they had everything ready, their coats were there, their shoes were there, so it made it less chaotic in the morning, but you gotta get those breakfasts in. So that's the mom perspective of getting breakfast in, and I know how crazy it is. The nurse perspective on breakfast is nursing is pretty research-based. Healthcare is pretty research-based. The majority of the things that we do are based on research, right? We want studies, we want numbers, and if it's proven to me that breakfast is important, then I'll do it. If it's proven that this medication will treat this disease, then I'll do it. But if it doesn't, if there's no proof, there's no studies, then we don't jump into things in healthcare. And so as a nurse perspective, why is it so important to eat breakfast? So I did a little bit of research into some studies out there that I wanted to share with you. So it's just not me telling you it's important to eat breakfast when I know how crazy those mornings are. But is it really, and why is it? So I have 4 quick things I want to share with you on why it is so important to eat breakfast. The first one is it has increased cognitive and academic performance in children. So I'm going to read this to you. Children who eat breakfast regularly have higher IQs than those who only eat breakfast on rare occasions. They're associated with better behavior in school, which that's pretty cool, right? Besides better grades, they have better behavior, which probably the behavior leads to better grades. And they have higher academic performance, higher achievement test scores. So that is why it is so important to feed those kiddos in the morning before you send them out the door, right? Now, if it works on kids, it's the same aspect for us as adults. If we eat breakfast in the mornings, we're going to perform better in our jobs. No matter what the job is, our thinking is going to be clear. We're going to just do better, okay? So for kids or for adults, eat breakfast, right? The second thing, and I have on my blog, I'll have all these listed out for you in references so that you can look at them. The second thing is skipping breakfast can lead to weight gain. Studies have been done in children that if they skip breakfast, they have higher BMIs, body mass indexes, right? And the obesity rates are higher by skipping breakfast. Probably, it sounds like the majority of that leads to that they skip breakfast, so then they get hungry later, so then they snack, eat tons in the morning between breakfast and lunch, or they overeat at lunch because they're hungry, right? I'm gonna scroll down here on my computer. So those are a couple things of why the obesity rate is higher in children. The third thing is there's increased risk for heart disease. This is pretty significant. There's an increased risk for obesity, metabolic syndrome, elevated triglycerides, which are the bad cholesterol, right? Higher LDL, which is the bad, lower LDL, which is the good. You want that one higher. and all when skipping breakfast. And all of these things relate and lead to your risk for cardiovascular disease. A large study that they did showed that men who skip breakfast were 27% more likely to develop coronary heart disease. Wow, that's pretty crazy. And you know, I talked a little bit about children trying to get their breakfast in the morning when it's crazy busy. Us as adults rushing off to work, right? And the majority of the people I'm talking to here are women. But your hubbies, guys, those significant others in your life, they're just as busy too. They rush out to work, sometimes really early in the morning, and don't take time for breakfast. 27% more likely to develop coronary artery disease if they don't eat breakfast. That leads to increased risk for heart attack, stroke, lots of things, right? So that's why it's important for our husbands or the guys to eat breakfast too. Not just the kids, not just the moms, but those husbands. 27% increased heart risk if they don't eat breakfast. Okay, so we all need to eat breakfast. The last thing I want to share with you is you have increased risk for diabetes if you don't eat breakfast. Studies have shown regularly eating breakfast can protect against type 2 diabetes. They've shown that skipping breakfast increases your chances of developing diabetes by 15 to 21% compared to those who regularly eat breakfast. So those are huge numbers right there if you don't eat breakfast. 27% higher risk in men for coronary artery disease, which leads to heart attacks, strokes, right? Increased risk there. And increased risk for diabetes by 15 to 21% by skipping breakfast. So, I know I'm not a morning person, I admit, but take those extra few minutes in the morning, eat a healthy breakfast. Make sure those kids eat a healthy breakfast on their way before they run out the door. You know, those little kids are hard to get ready, but those bigger kids just as easily rush out that door to get to school activities, to practices, different things going on even in the mornings, and a lot of times they don't eat breakfast either. So, are your kids eating breakfast? Are you eating breakfast? And are your husbands or those guys in your life eating breakfast because they have that huge risk of coronary artery disease, I can't say that today, increased by not eating breakfast. So, that's my quick tip for the day. Eat breakfast, everybody. I'm going to post my blog that has those references for that research that's done on eating breakfast. So everybody have a great weekend, and I will talk to you later.